live like outrageous, uncompromising disciples. Disciples. Live like outrageous, uncompromising disciples.
Thank you, Sienna. What a brilliant welcome to Live Loud that was. And I loved your jump back so much. I thought it was worth seeing again and again and again. And hello to everyone else. Really glad that you could join us for Live Loud today. Well, this is the last week in our study of the book of James, and we've got to chapter 5. So shall we get on with it? Let's do it. Chapter 5 is broken down into 3 main sections. The first section is a warning, the second section is some instruction, and the third section is some teaching. And we're going to look at a few verses from each of those sections. But first of all, let's start with a quick game. So here we go. I'm going to show you a series of pictures, and all you have to do is try and work out what connects the 4 pictures. I think this is quite tricky. You might find it really easy, but here we go. Here's number 1. So here we have some mint, a bag, ice, and the colour green. What links all of these pictures together? Well, did you get it? The answer is tea. Mint tea, tea bag, iced tea, and green tea. So now you've got the idea of what this game is about. Have a go at these next 4 pictures. What connects them? So this time we have the inner part of a dartboard, one of the judges who used to be on The Voice, the second man to walk on the moon, and a type of meat. But what connects them? Well, was that one any better? Perhaps if I describe it like this, it'll be much easier. So the inner part of a dartboard is the bullseye. The judge on The Voice was Jessie J. The second man on the moon was Buzz Aldrin. And the 4th picture was some ham. You've probably got it now. They are all characters from Toy Story. Okay, here's one more. You're probably already annoyed with this game, but here we go. Try this one out. This time, top left, we have this particular part of the body. Next to that is, well, what is that bluey grey part of the inside of the body called? And then down the bottom, what are those boys at a wedding called? And what's that finger called? What links them all together? So we had the spine, the appendix, that was the little bluey grey part of the inside of the body, page boys, and an index finger. The link is books. Well done if you got any of them correct. So let's read the first bit of James chapter 5. So these are verses 1 and 5. You rich people, listen, cry and be very sad because of the troubles that are coming to you. Your life on earth was full of rich living and pleasing yourselves with everything you wanted. You made yourselves fat like an animal ready to be killed. You have judged guilty and then murdered innocent people who were not against you. If there were 4 pictures to help us understand these opening verses of James chapter 5, here is what they would be. You see, this was a warning to those who lived around where the church were, the wealthy and the rich, because they were living in a way which was self-indulgent. They were eating as much as food as they could get and whatever it was, and not sharing it with others. They were hoarding clothes, even to the point where they had so many that moths were eating it. They had people working in the fields and they were refusing to pay them a wage. And we even read that they were murdering innocent people who had absolutely nothing against them. You see, this was the situation that James was writing into. James was warning these people that trouble would be on the way because they were oppressing people. They were treating people badly. They were thinking of themselves only and treating others as nothing. And when we have much, it's a helpful reminder to us that when we have lots, that we need to think about how can we share, how can we offer some of what we have. You know, there's nothing wrong with being wealthy, with working hard, but let's also work hard at being generous. Let's be wealthy in how we share what we have. James then goes on to instruct these Christians in order to help them and to aid them to know how to live when they're surrounded by these wealthy people who are oppressing them and treating them badly. And here's what he says in some verses in this section. Verses 8 and 9 says this: "Be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Don't grumble against one another, brothers and sisters." When things are hard and we're struggling and we're finding life tough and there's troubles that are hitting us, and perhaps for many of us we've felt a little bit like this over this whole pandemic and everything that's happened since March. Well, James encourages us to be patient when we're suffering, to be patient when we're struggling and when things are difficult. Patience is really hard. In fact, it's one of the fruit of the Spirit. It's one of the things that when we give our lives to Jesus, God comes and lives in us and he helps us to grow this fruit of patience. Maybe we have to learn it. Maybe we have to practice it a bit more. But James's advice is in the midst of all of this stuff, be patient. Here's a really quick activity. Find someone in your family to stand toe to toe with, put up your hands like this, and then see who can just push the other one away until they take a step back. Now, you're not allowed to hit or slap or punch or anything like that. It's literally pushing away. Did you see how I keep disappearing there? Sorry about that. So hands up, toe to toe, push and see who steps back first. Have a go and see who's the best. Usually the winner of that activity is the one who is the biggest and the strongest because they can just stand in the same place much easier. And James urges his readers to stand firm, to be patient and to stand firm. And this phrase, stand firm, it literally means strengthen your hearts. And so whatever you're going through and what you're dealing with and when your difficult times are here, James says, one, be patient, but then stand firm because God is near. Strengthen yourself because God is here. And finally, James ends his letter to these Christians talking about prayer. Why don't you spend a few moments just with your family talking a little bit about prayer? Perhaps answering things like, how often do you pray? Does prayer work? Have you ever seen prayer answered? Share a few stories. Talk about what you think about it. Be honest. Don't just agree with it. Say what you think. Go for it. Here's a really cool story about prayer that I've got. A few years ago, I was playing football for the team that I played for, and one of my teammates got a really bad knock to his knee, and he came off the pitch and he was rolling around, and he was a big bloke. He didn't usually get injured easily. He certainly wouldn't have stopped playing if he could have played on, but he was like, couldn't. He said the pain was so much, and he was, really disappointed, and he was about to hobble back to his car. And I said to him, look, can I just pray for you? So he went, yeah, all right then. So I didn't put my hand on his knee, but I put my hand on his shoulder and I just said, God, please heal his knee right now. Amen. That was it. I then went back to doing what I was doing and playing in the game, and didn't really think much of it. And then about 5 minutes later, I look over to the side of the pitch, and there's my teammate running full pelt backwards and forwards. And I said to him, I shouted over to him, "How you doing?" And he said, "This is unbelievable." He said, "I've got absolutely no pain there at all. It had completely gone." And I thought that was really cool. And I really thanked God that he had done that. James teaches us that when we're in trouble, we should pray. When we're happy and joyful, we should pray. When we're with each other, we should pray for each other. Prayer works. James says when things are really, really bad, encourage your friends. Ask your church to come and pray for you. Prayer works. And so I want to encourage you. Do you pray? Have you prayed? Do you believe in prayer? I do. I think it's the best thing we can do, and it's one of the ways in which our relationship with Jesus grows and grows and grows. So I want to encourage you today and this week to be patient when you're in trouble, to stand firm because God is near, and to talk to him, to pray to him. You don't have to use special words, you don't have to use big words, you don't have to use long sentences. In fact, you don't even have to use words. Draw your prayers, dance your prayers, sing your prayers, however you want to do it. But pray to him because it works. I'm going to leave you with a verse from the last part of James chapter 5, verse 16. And here's what it says. The prayer of a good person has a powerful effect. Thanks for joining us today. Hope that you have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Peace out. Bye.